Good afternoon, Larry Wilcox, Benedictine. Good to be back. Some of the guys said it was good to be here the first time. It's good to be back. It's good to be up here. But sometimes that's difficult to hold on to those coaching positions, but our staff's been in place for a long time, and we feel like, again, this year that's one of our great advantages. This will be our 21st year of playing in the Heart of America Athletic Conference after having been an independent team for a long time, and I think the vast majority of my coaches have been with us that full 21 years we've been in the conference. So that creates a stability for us that your players appreciate, parents appreciate. I think our administration for the most of the time appreciates it, not necessarily always. But we're anticipating a lot of fun this season. We did graduate, as we've been able to brag most years on graduating many students. I think we had about 35 seniors again this last year, so we lose many guys that were critically important to the success that we had last year as a national playoff team. But the good news is the cupboard is not bare. We returned some fine players, and we're excited to begin the season here coming up in just a couple days. Probably offensively, we return more experience than we do on the defensive side of the ball. Our defense last year was outstanding, and we had an extremely strong group, a very cohesive group, and our coaches did a great job throughout the season with those young men, and probably we were hit hardest on the defensive side by graduation. But offensively, especially at the skill positions, we return two of the all-conference wide receivers. We return a unanimous all-conference running back in Cameron 4. We return our 3 running backs that played primarily for us last year. We return our quarterback. We return our all-conference tight end. So the guys that are handling the football all have some experience, and we feel like we've added depth even at most of those positions. We'll have to do the most work in our offensive line. We graduated 3 guys that we felt were key to us, who have been multiple-year starters for us. Walton Pearl at center, a 4-year guy. Eric Bossler at tackle, a 4-year guy. And so we got some big shoes to fill there. And then Ron Fontenot, our big tackle, who was AFC All-American last year. So those are some key guys in our offensive line. We'll have to shore that up a little bit, and we're especially anxious to see how that group will come together in these early weeks. Defensively, the nucleus of that unit returns, but we have some significant people to replace. Probably the strength going in appears to be the defensive line in terms of both skill and depth, probably headed by Jordan Ankar, who was the Defensive Player of the Year last year in the Heart of America Conference. Several of our linebackers return. Raymond Gregg, Andrew Jones, and Colin McEntee. I always hate giving out names because you forget somebody. And then several of our defensive backs are back, highlighted by Ashton Stevens, who's one of our captains and really a fine football player. We also return in our kicking game our punters and place kickers and returners from last year. So that will be we think a fun group to work with throughout the season as well. So as I said, we lose a lot of fine football players. We've got some good ones back, and we're really anticipating another very competitive year in the Heart. It doesn't give you a chance to take any time off unless you have an open date, and even then you almost dread having an open date because you feel like you might be losing ground to someone else. I want to welcome Steve into the conference as a head coach, and Coach Ford at Central Methodist. And as you might have heard me say before, I think that this league is a very difficult league to coach in. We're not going to get as much attention as they do at the higher levels. But there's some great coaches that have been through these schools, and they're really challenged to do a lot of work in a variety of areas. They got to handle the budget and the facilities, and as Coach said, order the uniforms and get the field ready, and worry about the concession stand and all kinds of things. As I pull in here every year to this, I'm always sort of amazed at the similarities yet the differences. You know, you come in, you see Arrowhead, and you see Kauffman Stadium here, and they're full of seats, and It's basically guys and women playing games, you know, just like our players do. You're playing games and you're having fun doing it, hopefully, and we've got coaches that are trying to do the best they can to represent their schools or this city. So there are a lot of similarities between what goes on in these facilities and what goes on our facilities on our campuses. And then there's some differences. You know, there aren't 30,000 people in the stands, and the players and the coaches are maybe their finances are a little different, you know, than ours are. And then I look out there and it's not, they've got somebody else washing out the seats, not myself and Charlie, you know, so, and cleaning out the restrooms and getting things ready for the game. So, but I think this is a great league to compete in, and we always sort of were anxious to become a member of the Heart of America Athletic Conference, and now that we've been in the conference for 21 years, it's hard to believe that that time has gone by so quickly. But there's so many great memories and great experiences that we've had along the way, and we're just glad to be a part of a great thing, and hope to continue to have fun with it. I want to thank a couple people, Josh Pound, primarily from our sports information office, not only has been helpful to us, but I think throughout the conference with various schools, and Charlie Gartmeyer, our athletic director, and oh yeah, he's also our defensive coordinator, so he gets to do that too. And Phil, we expect to see you at every game. Don't come in that green shirt though. You better have something red or black on, okay? And we'll turn it over to Michael.